Hello, YouTube. And congratulations. You are the winner. I had mentioned this in a previous video of how lucky we are, you and I and everyone else watching this video, to be alive regardless or irregardless of our situation, because we won like the ultimate lottery. You know, I wasn't sure of the numbers, and I don't think anybody can be exactly sure of the numbers, but I decided to Google today your chance of being born. Go ahead and Google that, and you will see that it is extremely, extremely small. Like, so minuscule, your chance of being born, as an impossible. And yet here you are. And I think they're just counting conception. You know, just the fact that you're here watching this video or hearing my voice, because, you know, a lot of times my videos suck. The video drops out because I'm doing it while I'm driving. But the chance of you being here is like at least 1 in 400 trillion. You were the winner in at least 1 out of 400 trillion. And some people think it's 1 out of 400, what was it, quadrillion? Those numbers are so big, I don't even know how to pronounce them. I don't even know what they are. But yeah, you have millions, then you have billions, then you have trillions. Your chance of being born is higher than how rich Elon Musk is. Your chance of being born is higher, much higher than your chance of winning the lottery, the big lottery, the multi-state lottery. Like way harder to win that lottery of life than winning the lottery. So I think when you realize how incredibly hard it was for you, my friend, you, Mobang, to be here, and anybody else watching this right now, you really should appreciate your life, irregardless of how difficult it might be at present, because your chance of being here was so slim. And yet you, that little sperm, that egg, that one egg, you know, the eggs are kind of predetermined, you know, because the woman has a limited number of eggs that were created from the time she became a woman. But the sperm, for you to be in that batch, and for you, that sperm that made you, the other half, to beat out all the others, and then to survive that journey inside the fallopian tube, you know, all the way up to the uterus, and to survive that harsh environment, because believe it or not, the being conceived is just like the first step of survival. So that one sperm had to beat out all the other trillions of sperm. So in other words, that was the strongest one. And then some of you might be saying, all these disabilities, I have all, well, the sperm that made you was strong enough that it beat out all the others. Literally. It had to fight for life. And I think about that, and, you know, I've been trying to kill that tree. That poor tree that I'm having to kill. But to be here, even to be here, you beat out all those other sperm. And so you're like, but I'm not sperm. Well, you're half sperm, you know. Unless you're one of those test tube babies that they might not be making public, you know. Then you weren't born from sperm. You were born from an existing cell. But still, that cell originally came from a sperm that united with an egg. But anyhow, I'm getting a little sidetracked with the biology of it all. But the whole point of this video is that if you find yourself going through really tough times, things that are really hard, things that make you sad, things that make you question why you are here and your purpose in life, understand that to even be here, you, nobody else, you made that possible. Your two halves, the sperm and the egg. and they united to form you. And, what is the purpose? I think maybe the purpose is just to live. To live your best life possible. Maybe there isn't a greater purpose. Some people think that they have to do something great in life. I was watching this video. I wish I had the ability to save it. I got sidetracked and didn't save it. But it was a video, I think it was on Facebook, of the story of this guy who was in a sailboat, and the sailboat sunk, and he was stuck on a life raft. He had one of those floating rafts. Actually they're new. They're like enclosed now. It's like a floating tent. And he survived out in the ocean for like 70, 73, 79 days, something like that, by himself. So his boat sank, and he was out there for like almost 80 days all by himself in the Atlantic Ocean before he got rescued. And he had nothing. All he had was a little boat and, whatever supplies they had with it, but also what he managed to salvage off his sailboat before, he got separated from it. And you hear his story. I'm going to try to find the link and maybe post it in the community section so you guys can see that story. Because it truly tells you the human spirit, and how much life is worth, because he fought dehydration, he fought starvation, and he literally fought like sharks and other types of fish trying to eat him. And of course he fought himself, the psychology of staying alive. And I bring this up because I know some people go through really hard times and they feel like giving up. I know I've had those moments myself. And believe it or not, my 6 years living in a van, I really had those moments quite a bit. Didn't even think I was going to make it. But something inside me kept me going, For me, I told myself that the current situation, which was really depressing. Imagine this scenario. One day you're a well-respected professional and people admire you, okay? And you're well-liked and well-respected. And then the next day, you're like this total outcast and nobody can talk to you. And everything is taken away. And you become a monster. And even your friends are afraid to hang out with you because they don't want to be associated because of everything that's happened or is said to have happened, true or not, because they have their reputations and whatnot. I was in that situation, and it was hard to go on. I mean, it literally came down to when all of it happened and I got out of the jail, I couldn't believe, what was being said about me and the fact that people believed it. Or the fact that, so-called friends that I thought I had, I realized they were only friends up until the point you needed them as a friend. You needed them because their own life, their own self-worth, their own view of themselves and the people around them were more important than being a friend. Now, I would have, jumped in and given my life for my friend. But after seeing that, I was like, I guess not everyone's the same. Some people are your friends in good times, but in bad times, they're not. They're only friends in name, or in word, but not in their heart. And it was an eye-opening experience, The only true friend, I always tell everyone this, including my children, the only true friends you have are yourself, okay? And God, if you believe in God. If you don't believe in God, then you just have yourself. Given that option, I choose to believe in God, so at least there's two of us. There's me, and there's God. You say, well, what about your children? What about your spouse? What about, can't count on them. You're like, but my children are loyal and blah, 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 blah. They may be, but you can't count on them. And especially your spouse, if you and your spouse break up, they might become your worst enemy. And they know how to hurt you because they had access to everything, especially if you trusted them and gave them access to everything. They know exactly what to do to hurt you, And out of their anger, out of their frustration, whatever, they might go beyond just hurting. They go beyond because they're hurt so bad because you hurt them, or they feel you hurt them. So, knowing that, okay, realize that to even get to that state, you already had to win the lottery of being the 1 in 400 quadrillion to get this life that you now have. You say, but it's a shitty life. It has all this hardship and stuff. I will tell you this, if you can survive through that, it will pass. It will pass. So no matter what hardships you're having to go through, understand that it will pass. Now, it might get worse. I'm not saying that just because it passes that it's going to get better. That might be a lie. I don't like lying to people. But I would tell you that bad situation will pass. It'll either get worse or it'll get better. There's a 50-50 chance. But you can try to make it get better. You can work on towards getting it better, especially if the situation was caused by you because you did something bad or did something wrong or trusted certain people that you shouldn't have. At least you learn from your mistake and move on and try to make it better. But ultimately, in the end, okay, I get sad that some people, like Anthony Bourdain, I was watching him, and now it was at one of the judges, I forget the name, the singers, Judd. Apparently, she took her own life. Some people get so, Robin Williams. Some people get sick and tired of life and take their life. I wish they wouldn't. The fact that they even got here, they had to win this lottery. There was 400 quadrillion other humans, creatures, beings that wanted that chance at life and didn't get it. So you beat them all out and you throw it away in the end. That's very sad. The thing about life, though, I have this philosophy about life that a lot of people may not understand, but I want you to think about the laws of the universe, our universe, at least, and that is that matter is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes in form. You're like, what does that mean exactly? Well, that means everything that we have in our world, whether it be a tree or water or even the air, is the same as it ever was when our world was formed, when we were formed as humans in our environment, or even the galaxy or the universe. It was always there, and even after it dies, it's still there. It just changed forms, of energy, of shape, of characteristics. And when you understand that in the universe, in our known universe, you can't create or destroy matter, that means you can't create or destroy anything. And I believe that includes life. Yeah. I believe that even when you die, your soul, your essence, your living spirit continues to live. You're like, what does that mean exactly, Denoy? It means that 1 in 400 quadrillion chance that you had of becoming human and being here in this life was a gift for you to experience this lifetime. Take advantage of it. Or live the life you want to live to the best of your ability. And if you're not living the life you want to live, find out why not and work towards making it so. Try to make it. But know that when you die in the end, or your family members or anybody, it's okay. They're not really gone. They've just changed forms. The energy of the universe, the mass, the great existence is always there. So your loved ones, some of you I know are very sad because you've lost some loved ones, and I've lost a lot of loved ones. And my most recent was my friend, my best buddy Stuart, who I think about every day. But understand that all those people that you loved that are gone are still there. They're just not in this form, in this world anymore with us. But the life force, the existence is there because the universal law is that nothing is ever created or destroyed. It only changes. And knowing that, then you know that your time here in this body, in this life, is very limited. Because soon, eventually, you too will change forms. And, for humans, for us right now, it would be death. But for me, as I know it, as I believe, as I know in my heart, I basically changed back into energy, spirit, or whatever you want to call it. And some people go back to God, and that's that. I do believe that we would get recycled until ultimately the end. So when you die, and I know this isn't a Christian thing. Now, Asians a lot of times believe in reincarnation and stuff. But I'll be honest, I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives that I've been on Earth ever since I was. Sometimes I have visions or dreams that seem really real of the past. And in the past, I used to dream of the future. I used to see the future. I used to know what was going to happen before it happened. Interestingly, though, I thought, before my life fell apart, my current life in this world, in this time zone, or this period here, if you want to call it that, I thought I was going to die when I was about 44, 45. And that's when all the stuff happened, with the divorce and all the nastiness. I went to jail and everything, and I saw God. And what was weird was once I got out of the jail, everything was different. It was like I was in a different world, a parallel world. Even Stewart was different. Everybody was different. It was weird. It's like you go to jail and then you come out, and it's like a different society. Everything's different. Everybody's different. YouTubes, you didn't have to send me any money, but thank you. I appreciate it. But I think that once you realize that, one, your chance of being here in this life, in the body that you're in right now, the form that you're in, was a 1 in 400 quadrillion chance. That makes you pretty special. Very special. 1 out of 400 quadrillion. So the question is, having won that lottery, what do you want to do with your life? Now, some people might be happy with doing nothing. And if you're happy with that, that's fine. Because, see, there was no prerequisite. When you went to win that lottery, when you went to win that drawing, and it wasn't a drawing, it wasn't even a lottery, really. You had to earn it. That little spermie had to be the fastest, strongest, toughest. And not only that, the egg and the sperm, once they united, had to be the strongest, because the woman's body, after conception, tries to kill it. It tries to, it actually attacks. When you, the egg and the sperm unite, you become a totally different being than your mother or your father. You're a hybrid, you're formed from the two, and you're inside the mother's womb, but her body sees you as an invader and tries to kill you. Yeah. And then you have all sorts of bad stuff that can happen before you're born. That's why there's miscarriages and stuff. When the bad stuff are so overwhelming, even though you won the 1 in 400 quadrillion, you still die. But you survived that, see? You survived that. That's why you're listening to me right now. And I tell you this to encourage you, so that if you ever find yourself in a bad situation, understand that you beat out 400 quadrillion others to be here. And you say, well, why? Why did I beat them only to be here in this situation right now? And I would say, it's not over yet. You're still alive, and you still have the ability to change the outcome of what happens next. As long as you have that ability and you don't throw it away and give it up, you have the ability to turn your life into what you want it to be. Now, I've noticed a lot on social media lately. It seems like they push wealth. People who have money, have fancy cars, a mansion, and all that. They're pushing that as if that's the ideal of what you want. But I see so many celebrities and stuff who have all that, and they still commit suicide. Imagine that. Maybe having money and wealth and power and all that doesn't make you happy. Isn't that a thought? Maybe having all of that isn't what should drive you, but what should drive you is being happy with your own life. And maybe you want that wealth. Maybe you want all that, and you work towards that and get it. But understand that getting that won't guarantee you happiness. It'll mean you met one of your goals, okay? Which, if that's a goal, that's okay. And if you reach it, awesome. Kudos to you. But that's not the end, because once you reach that, what next? If that doesn't make you happy? I say happiness is a state of mind, and I know that I have a house now and it's a little bit more stable and stuff. But I also know that when I was in Little Blue, I was happy. Sometimes I miss that. I don't miss like the knocks on the doors and stuff like that. I don't miss, you know, having an emergency bathroom break in the middle of the night when you're in the van. That's horrendous. In a Walmart parking lot, too. That's even worse. I don't miss that at all. But what I do miss is waking up. I was watching some of my older videos. I was like, oh my gosh, I missed that. I missed. There's one episode where I woke up with horses. The horse. There was a bunch of horses. There were horses over at the Gulfstream, racetrack park in South Florida. I think it was in Hallandale, is it? But I went to sleep at the casino there, and it turned out they shut down at night. They shut down at like midnight or something like that. So I was the only van out in the parking lot. I was like, oh my God, I'm surprised they didn't come, the police or the guards, security didn't come knock on my window and get rid of me. But I woke up, and there were horses. I could hear horses, and I went out and I saw all the horses out there, and all the jockeys came by and had their horses trot in front of me and put on a little show for me. It was so nice. And I thought to myself, I was like, if I had been living in my house the whole time and never experienced living in a van like that, where I actually was kind of forced to live with the environment and travel and wake up in different cities and different locations and stuff, I would have never woke up with horses before. I would have never woke up. There was another episode where I woke up by the library, the O'Galley Library, and I was out there and it was foggy, and experienced that. Or when I was out there in the morning and the dolphins would come up. And it turns out, like the dolphins and stuff that you see, if you see them in nature, they tend to repeat that pattern. So just a tip for you, if you like catching wildlife, if you go someplace, like especially in Florida, and you see dolphins there, note the time, because there's a high likelihood that the next day at around that same time, that dolphin will show up again. It turns out that animals like routine, because routine makes things somewhat predictable. Okay? And so what I would suggest for you, regardless of your situation, wherever you are, if you're finding yourself kind of messed up, try to get into a routine. Try to get into a routine so that you have a little bit of stability, even in an unstable environment. I know that for me in the van, the routine was very much similar every day, even though I woke up in different places. But the routine had to be there because it kept me from just going nutso. And then if you're in a situation right now where you're not happy, recognize that you're not happy. I'm not saying you have to be happy where you are right now. What I'm saying is you need to recognize that you can change it, because you're still alive. You still have the capacity, the capability of attempting to change it. And you might be successful, you might not, but the fact is you're still alive and you can actually make a difference in your own life. So, look at what's wrong and then try to figure out a way to fix it. And you say, but I'm not very good at figuring things out on how to fix it. Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't do anything at all, but continue to live like that and be like that and continue that same pattern, it's not going to change. It's going to stay the same. Unless you get outside help, and then you accept the outside help. But if you don't get that outside help, you've got to kind of do it yourself. So you got to recognize that you have a problem, and then you got to try to work on a solution. And then you say, well, what if my solution doesn't work and it makes it worse? Well, then it gets worse. Turn around. Nothing says you have to keep proceeding forward if it's worse. Stop what you're doing and try to turn around and make it better. And keep trying different things until it gets better, And whether or not you're successful or not, I don't know. I can't predict that. But I can tell you this. When you try something different, you're going to get a different result. You'll be in a different situation. It could be better or worse. So just wanted to congratulate you on winning that life lottery, and wanted to remind you that you should take advantage of it. I think I read here earlier a little bit about some people being happy being a vagabond than a rich, depressed man. I think that's truly important. I think you should be happy in the life that you choose. I'm not saying that rich men aren't happy. Some of them are happy, but when you see people who obviously can afford anything and have anything they want in their life, and they take their own lives, there's something wrong. And that something wrong may or may not have been the money, but I don't think it's the money so much. I think it's inside. They somehow lost hope, and they became depressed and felt that their life was worthless. I don't think they realized that their life was 1 in 400 quadrillion. And when you get depressed, if you can remember that you won that lottery, you beat all those, the other less than I don't even know what the number would call it, like 300, not quadrillion, 399 quadrillion, 399 trillion, 399 billion, 399. The number's so big I can't even pronounce it all. But you beat all those other souls that didn't get born. So take advantage of your situation. And if you do become rich and you want to end your life, help a bunch of people before you take yourself out. I see all these celebrities, rich celebrities, offing themselves, and their money is just left there. And if they don't have family, then the state or the government will end up taking it. At least give it all away before you take yourself out. Help some people. All right, let me take a moment here to read some of your comments, and then I'm going to sign out here. It is hot. Well, Bang says 1 million sperms fighting to get the first is a very good chance. I think you have more than 1 million though. And then the fact is a bunch of sperm are already born deformed. Their form all messed up. But you had to be the best swimmer. Yeah, think about it. You think about the Olympic swimmers, you were better than them. They only had to race against 7 others? You had to race against millions. And not only that, you had to swim up this really dangerous swimming pool because there was all sorts of stuff trying to kill you along the way. And all sorts of traps, And then after swimming for possibly a day or 2 or 3, when you hit your goal, there's this big, huge barrier. It's like a giant ass wall. So you're exhausted from swimming, and you hit this barrier, and you got to bust through that with your head. Think about that. So you get tired, you swim, and you hit the end, and it's not just like, ding, you win. No, it's like you hit the end, and there's this big, huge ass wall you got to bust through, and you got no tools. You only have your head, And then when you break through, it explodes. It explodes, and your life as a sperm ends. And then everything else after it explodes, it had better exploded in the right place, and all those components had to meet up with the other equivalent components to form a cell, and it had to fight off the mother trying to kill it. All the blood cells, the white blood cells and other antibacterial, anti-invaders, anti-germ, stuff that tries to defend the mother's body, because for her, you are an invader, and she tried to kill you. Yeah, her body did, and you survived all that, and survived all that to the point of being born. So that is extremely difficult. So congratulations on that. Take advantage of it. Make your life exactly as you want it. Claire, good to see you. And Snow Beaver says he believes being born was 100%. The fact that you are here, okay, makes you super, super special. Really, each and every one of you are probably more special than you realize. You, of all the others, you earned it. That's the one thing you really need to know. Some of you say, I'm not very good at anything. I always lose. No matter what I do, I always lose. You didn't lose. You beat out 400 quadrillion to be here. That was the most important race. It was a race for life. Beat everybody else. Well, Bang says, it is disgraceful to take your own life. Think of how much resources people got you this far and how you throw it away by killing yourself. I think that sometimes people get sad and get depressed, and they don't think about that. They forget how hard it was for them to even be here, to get that chance, and all the others that they beat out that would have wanted that chance. And the one thing I think people forget about when they take their own lives is that every situation, every instance, everything is temporary. So the sadness that you feel, even though it might seem like forever, is temporary. It will pass. And I think part of the key is knowing that and believing that and working towards that. You know, some people say they've lived with depression all their life. Don't live with it. Get rid of it. You got to do different things to try to get rid of it. And some of you say it's impossible. Maybe, but at least you're trying. You know, once you give up, of course, it's not going to change. You're doing the same stuff. So your pattern, which, you know, it's good to have a pattern, but if the pattern is leading you to sadness and depression, get out of that pattern. Scrolling through here. Well, Bang says, I am most happy now is when I am in my minivan travel place and live simple life as can be. Honestly, I think everyone should learn to live in a van at least for a short time. Because once you learn that you don't need that much, all the extra stuff that you have in your life, it's just extra crap, you know? Like now that I'm in a house, I really don't feel like I need much, you know, just a minimal. Even furniture-wise, I really don't need that much. But, you know, honestly, my house, the house I'm in right now, is about 620, 630 square feet, you know? That's kind of too big. To be honest, I could live very comfortably in about 150 to 200 square feet. 650 is huge. But Mubang wants to win that lottery. Yeah, I think, you know, having money from a lottery is a nice wish, a nice dream. And some of you say, well, I won this 1 in 400 quadrillion. Maybe you have another chance of winning. Maybe you do. But remember, you know, they're out of that pool, that initial pool to create your life, you know, 399 trillion, let's round it off to 400 quadrillion others lost. And your chance of winning the lottery might be 1 in like 200 million or 330 million or something, which is better odds than being born. But still, that's incredible odds. Just the fact that you're here is incredible. So take advantage of it. I'm glad each and every one of you have won. We are all winners here on this channel. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Remember, you're a winner. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye now.